Imagine walking through the neon-lit maze of a Las Vegas casino floor at 2 a.m. The air is thick with the scent of expensive filtration and desperate hope. I recently sat down with a man named David Chen. For 11 years, David was a floor manager for three of the biggest properties on the Strip. What he told me didn't just surprise me. It made my stomach turn. He described a specific category of machines that the staff internally refers to as the traps. According to David's records, there is one preventable mistake so common that it costs the average player over $3,000 a year. But here's the kicker. The casino staff is trained to watch you make this mistake. They won't stop you. They won't warn you. In fact, they have entire training modules dedicated to identifying players who fall into these psychological holes because those players are the most profitable people in the building. Today, we're pulling back the curtain. We're revealing the machines that, mathematically speaking, never pay out the way you think they will. 1. The illusion of the hot machine. David started our conversation by debunking the biggest myth in gambling history, the hot or cold machine. Most players walk the floor looking for a machine that hasn't hit in a while, or conversely, one that seems to be spitting out tickets. From the surveillance room, the perspective is chillingly different. Every machine is governed by a random number generator, or RNG. This isn't a mechanical clock. It's a high-speed processor cycling through billions of mathematical combinations every single second. The moment you press that button, your fate is sealed by the microsecond. There is no memory. The machine doesn't know, it just paid out a jackpot, and it certainly doesn't feel like it owes anyone a win. Workers watch players hover around machines, waiting for someone to leave so they can jump in on a due machine. To the floor staff, this is like watching someone try to predict which way a coin will land because the last 5 flips were heads. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of probability that the casino counts on. They design the lights and sounds to make every spin feel like it's building towards something. But in reality, every spin is a brand new game with the exact same house edge. Treat every spin as an independent event. Never choose a machine based on its recent history. Engagement prompt. Have you ever waited for a specific machine because you felt it was due for a hit? 2. The Denomination Trap. Let's talk about Jennifer. She was an experienced player who walked up to a Buffalo machine with $200. Her plan was simple: play quarter spins and enjoy the afternoon. 45 minutes later, her bankroll was gone. She was stunned. It turns out, Jennifer never checked the denomination settings. While the machine looked like a penny or quarter slot, it was actually set to a $2.50 minimum. This is the first trap, David revealed. Modern multi-denomination machines are often programmed to default to the highest setting when a new player inserts cash. If you don't manually toggle it down, you're betting 10 times more than you intended. Casino technicians told me this happens approximately 40 times a day on a medium-sized floor. The screen indicators are often small and deliberately subtle. The casino isn't technically lying to you. The information is there, but they aren't making it easy to see. They know that in the excitement of sitting down, most players skip the settings and go straight for the spin button. By the time you realize the mistake, your budget for the night might already be cut in half. It's a silent drain that targets the unobservant. Always verify the bet per spin amount on the digital display before your very first press. 3. The ghost player penalty. There's a persistent urban legend that inserting your player S card makes the machine tighten up. David actually laughed when I brought this up. He introduced me to Mark, a player who refused to use a card for 3 years because he was convinced the casino was tracking him to ensure he lost. When a host finally showed Mark his theoretical profile, he realized he had donated over $15,000 in unclaimed benefits back to the casino. Here's the truth from the inside. The player tracking system and the RNG board are physically separate. They don't communicate. They can't communicate. Your card is essentially a loyalty meter that tracks coin in. By not using it, you are a ghost player. To the marketing department, you are invisible, which means you're paying full price for an experience that everyone else is getting subsidized. Track players get free meals, hotel rooms, and free play, offers that act as a rebate on their losses. Ghosts get nothing. Casinos actually prefer ghost players because every dollar lost is pure profit with zero reinvestment obligation. By avoiding the card to trick the machine, you are actually performing the single most profitable behavior a player can offer the house. You're giving them 100% of your loss with no strings attached. Never spin without your loyalty card inserted. It's the only way to get a rebate on the house edge. 4. The aisle placement secret. If you've ever wondered why certain machines are placed near the entrances or right next to the busy walkways, David has the answer. It's called visual gravity. High volatility machines, the ones that have massive jackpots but very few small wins, are strategically placed in high traffic areas. Why? Because when someone does hit a bonus on a high volatility machine, it's loud, flashy, and draws a crowd. The casino wants people walking by to see the celebration. They want you to think, if it happened to them right there, it can happen to me. However, David revealed that these aisle machines often have different programming profiles than the ones tucked away in the quiet corners. While the long-term return to player, RTP, must meet legal minimums, the hit frequency is often tuned for maximum theatrical impact. You might see more near misses on these machines, those heart-pounding moments where the jackpot symbol is just one hair off the line. This triggers a dopamine response that keeps you in the seat longer. The aisle machines are marketing tools designed to recruit new players into the momentum trap. Experienced floor walkers know that the machines with the best consistent payouts are usually the ones that look the most boring and are located in the least exciting parts of the floor. 5. The momentum trap. David explained that within 90 seconds of sitting at a slot machine, your brain enters what researchers call play mode. In this state, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for logical decision-making, starts to power down. You stop processing detailed information and start focusing entirely on the sensory loop, the rhythmic music, the bright colors, and the anticipation of the next spin. This is the momentum trap. Casinos understand this biological vulnerability perfectly. It's why there are no clocks on the walls and no windows to the outside world. They want to eliminate stopping points. Have you ever noticed that when you hit a small win, the machine takes its time counting the credits with a loud dinging sound? That's not for your benefit. It has to keep you locked into the machine's rhythm so you don't think about getting up. David's team was taught to look for players in this trance. They are the most vulnerable because they will keep playing through a losing streak without even realizing how much time has passed. The moment you stop thinking about the money as rent or groceries and start thinking of it as credits, the casino has won. To break the trap, you have to physically stand up. Even just walking to the bathroom or getting a glass of water can reset your brain's logical center. Set a vibration timer on your phone for every 30 minutes to force a mental check-in. 6. Chasing the sunk cost. The most heartbreaking story David told me involved a man named Robert. Robert sat at a dancing drums machine for 7 consecutive hours. He had already lost $1,100, but he refused to leave because he felt he had invested too much. This is the sunk cost fallacy. Robert believed that the machine owed him his money back. Internally, casino reports show that players who exhibit machine loyalty, refusing to switch units because they've already lost money there, have a 217% higher loss rate. They become anchored to a single spot, convinced that the next spin must be the one. But as we learned earlier, the RNG resets every single time. The machine doesn't know you've been there for 7 hours. It doesn't care that you missed your dinner reservation. Every spin is just as likely to lose as the very first one you made. David's staff is actually instructed not to intervene when they see this behavior unless the player becomes aggressive. Why? Because a player who feels they are too deep to quit is a guaranteed source of revenue. They will often go to the ATM multiple times, chasing a ghost that doesn't exist. The machine isn't keeping your money in a pot, waiting to give it back. That money is already gone. If you lose your initial budget on a machine, move to a different area of the casino. Physical movement breaks the psychological investment. 7. The progressive jackpot heartbreak. Imagine the symbols for a $12 million jackpot lining up perfectly on your screen. You start screaming, your hands are shaking, and the floor staff rushes over. If you aren't willing to play the max bet, do not play a progressive machine. You're paying for a prize you can't win. 8. The near-miss engineering. Have you ever seen the jackpot symbol stop just one notch above or below the center line? It feels like you were so close. David revealed that in the industry, this is called mapping. While the RNG determines the win or loss, the visual display is designed to show you as many near misses as possible within legal limits. Psychologically, a near miss is processed by the brain almost identically to a win. It triggers a surge of dopamine and a try again response. In reality, you weren't close at all. Mathematically, that symbol being one stop away is no different than if it hadn't appeared on the reel at all. But your brain sees the pattern and tells you that the machine is getting hot. Technicians can actually calibrate how often these visual near misses occur to keep players engaged. It's a form of high-tech baiting. David explained that they especially love putting these machines near the bars, where alcohol lowers your inhibitions and makes you more likely to fall for the visual trick. You're not playing against a physical reel. You're replaying against a computer program designed to make almost winning feel like a reason to keep spending. Ignore the symbols that stop off the pay line. If it's not on the line, it didn't happen. 9. The Speed Trap, Turbo Mode. Modern slot machines now feature turbo buttons or the ability to stop the reels early by tapping the screen. David says this is the speed trap. Many players believe that by stopping the reels themselves, they are exercising skill or timing the machine. This is 100% false. The RNG has already determined the outcome the millisecond you hit start. Tapping the screen just makes the symbols stop faster so you can get to the next spin sooner. The casino's goal is spins per hour. The faster you play, the faster the house edge grinds down your bankroll. If a machine has an 8% house edge and you play at a normal pace, your money might last 3 hours. If you use turbo mode, that same money will be gone in 40 minutes. David's team watched as speed players evaporated their budgets before they even finished their first free drink. The casino provides these stop features to give you an illusion of control, making you feel like a participant in the outcome. In reality, you're just accelerating the rate at which you pay the casino for the entertainment. It's the difference between sipping a fine wine and doing shots. One lasts longer, the other just gets you to the bottom of the bottle faster. Never tap the screen to stop the reels. Let the animation play out. It's free entertainment time that slows down your loss rate. 10. High limit versus low limit psychology. Many players think that the high limit room is where the real odds are. David clarified the internal logic here. While it's true that $10 and $100 machines often have a slightly higher RTP percentage, maybe 95% versus the 88% on penny slots, the volatility is much higher. In the high-limit room, the swings are massive. You can lose $5,000 in 10 minutes without seeing a single hit. The casino designs these rooms to be quiet, luxurious, and intimidating. This atmosphere makes you less likely to walk away after a loss because you want to belong in that elite space. David noted that the most successful, informed players he ever saw actually avoided the high-limit rooms. They understood that a 2% difference in RTP doesn't matter if you don't have the bankroll to survive a 200-spin dry spell. The trap here is prestige. The casino wants you to feel like a VIP while they take your money at a much faster absolute rate. A 5% loss on a 100 bet 5 is much worse for your wallet than a 12% loss on a 50-cent bet, 6 cents. Don't let the better odds lure you into a game that your budget can handle. Stick to denominations that allow you at least 200 spins. If you have $200, don't play more than $1 per spin. 11. The ticket in, ticket out trick. Remember when slot machines used to drop real silver coins into a metal tray? That sound was a psychological stopping point. You had to wait for a bucket, carry the heavy coins to the cage, and physically see the money. David explained that the switch to Tito, ticket in, ticket out, was one of the most profitable moves in casino history. When you win, you get a piece of paper. It doesn't feel like money. It feels like a voucher. This makes it incredibly easy to reinvest that ticket into another machine. David's floor staff noticed that players are 60% more likely to keep playing after a win if they have a ticket rather than cash. The trap is the convenience. They even make the cash out button smaller or harder to find than the repeat bet button. When you have a ticket for $400, your brain doesn't see for $100 bills. It sees a balance. The casino wants you to keep that balance moving until it hits zero. This is why they place the redemption kiosks, the machines that turn tickets into cash, as far away from the exits as possible. To get your money, you have to walk past 100 other traps designed to pull you back in. Every time you hit a win that doubles your initial session budget, cash out the ticket and put the cash in your pocket. Only play with your original buy-in. 12. The alcohol and emotion multiplier. There is a reason the drinks are free. David's surveillance team is trained to watch for impaired escalation. Alcohol doesn't just make you clumsy. It specifically targets your loss aversion. When you're sober, losing $100 hurts. When you've had 3 cocktails, that loss feels like a challenge. You become aggressive. You start doubling up to get even. David shared that the highest revenue-generating hours for slots are between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., the peak window for alcohol consumption. Combined with the turbo speed and the near-miss visuals, an intoxicated player is a perfect profit machine. But it's not just booze, it's emotion. If you go to the casino because you're stressed, angry, or celebrating a big win in life, your judgment is already compromised. David's pro tip? The moment you feel your heart rate spike or your face get hot after a loss, you've entered the danger zone. At that point, you're no longer playing for fun. You're playing to satisfy an emotional itch. The casino is more than happy to let you scratch that itch with your bankroll. Never play when you're emotional or after more than 2 drinks. Stay sober, stay sharp, and keep it strictly about entertainment. 13. The educated player advantage. As our conversation wrapped up, David shared some startling internal data. He categorized players into 2 groups: uninformed and educated. Educated players, people who understand RNG, volatility, and bankroll management, behave differently. They have 58% shorter average session lengths because they know when to walk away. They lose 72% less per session because they do int chase, losses, or fall for speed traps. But most importantly, they have a 91% higher probability of actually leaving the building with winnings when they do hit a significant jackpot. The uninformed player hits a jackpot and thinks, "I'm on a roll," and gives it all back. The educated player hits a jackpot and thinks, "I just beat the math," and heads for the parking lot. The casino industry is built on the gap between what you believe and what is actually true. By closing that gap, you become a bad customer for the casino, and that's exactly what you want to be. David says his former bosses hate players who follow these rules because they are low yield. Be a low yield player. Be the one who treats the casino like a movie theater. Pay a set amount for a few hours of fun, and if you happen to find a $100 bill in the seat, take it home. Final checklist. Check denomination, use your card, bet for your budget, and walk when you're up. 14. The golden rule of the floor. We've covered a lot of ground today, from Sarah's $11 million heartbreak to the IOL machine marketing tricks. But if you remember only one thing from David's 11 years on the floor, let it be this. The casino always has an edge, but you have the power of no. You are the only person who decides when the game is over. The lights, the sounds, the free drinks, and the near misses are all there to take that decision away from you. They want you to play until you have to stop. Smart play means playing until you want to stop. Slot machines are a form of high-tech entertainment, nothing more. They are not a way to pay the bills or get even with life. If you follow the steps we've outlined, checking your settings, using your card, avoiding the momentum trap, and staying sober, you can enjoy the thrill of the floor without becoming a statistic in David's old manager reports. Play for the bonus round excitement, not for the recovery of lost funds. Be the player that the floor manager watches with a sigh, knowing they won't be getting a donation from you tonight. Stay smart, stay informed, and we'll see you in the next one. Always set a win goal alongside your loss limit. When you hit either, the session is over.